No, I don't give off like.
I think you do.
No, I don't. Why do you say that?
Well, because you feel uncomfortable and that discomfort comes across.
Why should we feel uncomfortable? It's the criminals that don't feel uncomfortable. That comes right from Glengarry Glen Ross. Al Pacino, he says to the character played by Walter Lemon or whatever, he says, he's like, oh, I'm nervous because I'm being investigated. Al Pacino goes, you know who isn't nervous? Who? He's like, the criminals. But of course, he doesn't explain the fact that Al Pacino isn't nervous. He's the top salesman.
Yeah.
So what do you think he's into?
Well, it's true. That guy they caught on camera at the thing, he was blatantly going through everything. He didn't care.
I know. I met him one night. I'm just a suspicious character with his girlfriend. I asked him not to loiter because we had some break-in. And but he was I can tell he was a smooth talker for sure. He's used to just talking his way out of anything. But I mean, you get into survival mode. You can just say what you're about to say. Let's see, what do they say? Grand opening June 28th. Grand reopening. Huh. Grand
That'll be a busy place.
I'm sure it'll be grand indeed. The local watering
They might have
trough.
taken this time to renovate or something, you know?
Yeah, taking time to improve their...
Maybe change the carpets.
Maybe to get their barmaids to lose a little weight. Would that be inappropriate? No, just kidding. Barmaid.
Maybe I'll ask Jack if he wants to take me. I went to see him the other day. I paid him that money. He doesn't get really excited about anything, but he accepted it. So. I don't really want to start anything up again. That's just not really what I want.
Of course not. He's catatonic, Mom. You need something better than a catatonic male. I think now to shoot a little higher.
Yeah.
If you put up an ad, just say, I prefer not to have catatonic men. You're done with them. If you're on Oprah, you're like, Oprah, I'm done with catatonic men. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I use words and I know he doesn't understand them. Yeah, just a blank look on his face and I explain it, but not that I know fancy words. I think I used clandestine the other day.
It sounded like music, didn't it? You could now, yes. Won't you, Wilma? Wilma. You don't see a lot of people named Wilma. Damon. Like, why would you name your son Damon? What an awful name for a child.
He's a
Demon.
minister. When we lived in Buckingham, there's a minister. Someone, I think, his dad was a minister. Anyway, his name was Damon, and he was like a demon.
Yeah.
There is something in
Something about the word Damon, yeah. It just invokes things. It's a Greek word for soul. It's a daemon. But I don't think it's meant to be a good thing. And so, if the word for soul is demon, what does that make the soul? Right? I told you, all that Greek stuff is made up. It's all witchcraft. Forces me to exercise more. The other side's easy. I can just go. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll take it easy tonight.
That's what you said this morning. So.
Yeah. I'm gonna think about it. Maybe soon. I'll let you know by appropriate moment. Okay.
I missed that first one. You're on the wrong.
I know. You're in the wrong lane. Oh, maybe not. You can actually go straight. Yeah, they've built a road now.
Oh.
I bet you nobody even knows that it goes down here.
Does that go around?
Oh, right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just built a through road.
That goes onto that road that goes down to the trailer park.
Yeah. Wow, this place is definitely... Suicide with those orangutans. I don't mind calling people apes because the medical system calls them apes. And the USGS refers to them as pests. The legal system refers to you as monsters. So I don't mind calling you apes. Actually, apes is the nicest thing I can call people. Even what the government calls them. Per apes. Getting used to air. I think I'll just go to the Shelley Road. Whenever he feels the air, his head jumps back. It gives him something to do. It's giving him something exciting to do. Out there, bud. That's the smell. It's an entire world. So just take a right, up ahead then.
We're not too far.
this way. Right. Yeah. Good. Thank you. Yeah, you said shove, but I don't know if they're all called. So.
This is Martin. Which house that Robert lived in the 707?
Well, he likes this.
Which house he had? He said he had a rental on the property too.
I couldn't live in this area, you know why? There are people here that don't like me very much.
It also
Which
floods.
may seem to validate your theory that, which we never finished that conversation. You said I give off a certain energy. But it's like you always seem inclined to believe that people should treat me badly. It's like,
No, I'm
not
not.
a ferocious human being.
No.
I met many friendly people today. I talked to a lady with her dog, and when people are nice, I'm nice. It's no problem. No problem with nice people. I have the problem with people that aren't nice. I got some bananas and some mushrooms and some flaxseed. Thanks so much. See you later. Oh. Beautiful place. It's such a luxury to get driven here. Here I am 1 second I'm in the park, but I think next second I get a ride to my next favorite park. These daisies. Oh, this is lovely. And there's no creepy people around. Oh, it's even better. My mom's like, I'm like, I don't like police. She's like, well, they probably don't like you. And I was like, what? Like, well, you probably give off a feeling of this. And it's like, Mom, a lot of decent people don't like the police. They make you nervous. They people carry guns around. It's like that. It's like Canada, like this town, a lot of these towns, you don't need people with guns. You need people with a conscience. Right? She was talking about like this working guy who was breaking into our building because he had a code to get in, and how he had like no conscience about it. Just coming into the carport at night and rifling through people's stuff. And it's like an ant just rode me. An ant just rode me. Just saw a beetle. Look at how thick this is. Wow. Whoa. 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 It's like I don't think a lot of people are really even coming through here, really. Whoa. Yeah, good. We're just about 5 minutes from my refuge. It's like I'm an animal in society. My mom's nice. She was being nice today, but I'm an animal from society seeking a refuge. I was telling my mom my story about how parents should had voltage, thousands of volts shot through their genitals whenever their children feel trapped, and how quickly people would learn to treat children properly. And, because she knows that on some level, she took me to school, she took me to daycare, she took her young lovely little ape animal named Landon, right? And beautiful, look at what your mind does when you're a child. Look at how much you first loved the world. They say to Jesus, God first so loved the world. God never loved the world. You love the world. It's your ethereal energy. It's you. The magic of children that this world wants. The ability for your mind to love the world. That's what makes it all go around. They get old. They'll do anything to capture. Even if they've lost their childhood, they'll love their favorite sports team. They'll love their favorite actor. Everyone wants to love the world. No one wants to hear stuff that disparages your ability to love the world, because you first loved the world, that you were sacrificed to that world. Because you so loved the world, you had to be sacrificed, right? And you still have to say you love the world, no matter how much it tortures you, right? Who cares if you don't like it? What you say doesn't matter, right? In the first 20 years of your life, what you say doesn't matter. They take you like an animal, they humiliate you, they put you into school, they teach you stupid philosophies that are just geared like gruel for trapped animals. And you have to start figuring out a way to feel a little less trapped. And they say, you work, you do good at school, you jump through these hoops, you believe the stupid shit, and maybe, just maybe, you'll have a few moments of peace before they take out your liver and your heart and they pronounce you dead and arrival, right? The inventory has finally expired. It has lost its ability to carry forth the torch of freedom and delusion. Hi-ho, the Mario. Have a nice time in heaven. We'll see you next time round. Thanks for, by the way, adding all of your labor and giving us all of your children's minds so that we can make sure that the next time you come around, it'll be even worse. And you're like, I sense something wrong about this. Something wrong with this man. The way he thinks, the way he talks, there's just something wrong. And it's like, I see. You think something's wrong. That is somewhat of a useful. Lots of mosquitoes. So I'm gonna have to rig something. Try to keep the bugs away. So my mom's basically telling me that I make the police nervous. It's like, what? It's interesting the way she thinks. You could think it trivial on the surface, but she basically thinks that if I make somebody nervous, or if I'm nervous about somebody, it's my fault for making them nervous. Okay? Let's think about that for a second. If I make someone nervous, and I've seen this among other white psychopaths. It's the way they think, right? They can do anything they want, but if you make them nervous, right, that's a problem. This is the woman to whom I told my story about children feeling trapped, right? If a teacher, right, who's a pedophile, and anyone will admit it, they love children, they know all about children, they're experts at children. Experts at kidnapping children, holding them against their will for years and years and years, right? And you say, have some compassion on them, they don't know what they're doing, all that kind of stuff. No compassion for the children. I've seen children who end up dying from communism, right? Children are dying from it, but let's have compassion for the teachers because, you know, they do need to make a living. We don't want to take away their ability to make money, you know, off of the children they love so much, you know, because they do love them, right? I understand. You love children. I got it. I've met pedophiles before. I know you all love children. I get it. I feel the love. The love of the Disney Channel, right? Disney or Adolf Hitler, exactly the same person. Biometrics agree at every level. Enjoy your Disney. So she's like, you should be more concerned with you making your natural predators nervous. She always says that. And I say, oh, I hope I don't run into any violent people today. She says, oh, be nice. Be nice. Try to be nice. Oh, I see. So I should be nice. And that's the way a psychopath thinks, right? Because she thinks that she has no, even though I've told her explicitly about violence, she basically thinks, she doesn't consciously, if I said to her, do you think I caused that? Oh, no, that's repugnant to me. But I should be nicer to all these people. Oh, no. She always denies it. But she just keeps saying, oh, you should be nice. You should be nice. Right? Doesn't, I said to her, I quoted her Glengarry Glen Ross, where Al Pacino tells a character who's nervous about an investigation. He said, who's not nervous? Right? Criminals aren't nervous. But also there's a third party in the film, right? The successful working man is not nervous when it comes to the police. Because if you make a lot of money, the police aren't as concerned about you as if you don't. Right? Which tells you that the only voice you have in the world is the one you have to sublimate in order to go along with it, to have a newfound voice, the voice of the rich working man. I knew very early on in my writing life, right? And my brother came up to me one day after he'd attacked me and said, I'd have to be delusional to think I could be a writer. It's not really what I want it to be, but that's what they would say. And a psychiatrist would tell me, you know, every psychiatrist, every psychologist I went to would tell me, you stand no chance of ever succeeding as a writer, in that you should, every healer always said, silence your own voice, and I should swallow, I should stop writing, stop communicating. Almost every fucking healer I've ever gone to. What is it you guys don't like about my voice? And most of the people, right, that commit crimes, that hurt people, they do and do not know what they are doing. They have a 50-50 mind. If you push them, you'll find they kind of know. But if you don't, they don't really know. And I watch and I patiently take this in, right? All my life. Try not to make too many waves, but if you think properly, you'll probably make waves somewhere. I just think properly. Like those boys today, practicing baseball, because they want to be good baseball players.
but they're not practicing thinking. There's no IQ test for being a baseball player. When when women murder men, and as often when men murder women, women murder men, what is the most likely reason that that happens? And what does it do with the rest of the world? What does it have to do with that? I don't, because, probably they're hurting them, they're psychically trapping them, or a kind of spirit of violence has taken over their home. And different people, because of the world, you can be very suggestible to anger. Crowds can be aroused. Hitler, right? Also Walt Disney, also a woman, could definitely, whoa, right? You watch politicians, you watch sporting events, like, men beating their chests, right? And then they bring their children to come watch this. Watch them act like apes. But if you really wanted to see how humans had evolved, you'd show a child, and they'd show the spirit of rage with a giant penis slowly emerging up their asses and up their spine, out of their eyes, and coming like a serpent tongue out of their mouth for the rest of their lives. That's the evolution of a communist taxpayer. Right? Your loyalty has to become divided. You're loyal to your captor. You have to try to stay loyal to yourself, and you're loyal to the people who have forced you into your love. Right? Your mom and dad, you love the world, and they take the shape of your love. You love them. You see them as loving. You see them as love. But no one talks about the love you bring in the world. Christians talks about the love Jesus brought in the world. But what about the love you brought into the world? And all these pedophiles, these Christians and teachers, never talk about the love you brought into the world. No one ever said about me, oh Landon, what a loving being he seems. When I was hanging out with family, no one ever said, oh, you seem like a loving being. They never even talked to me. How many people have ever told you, as a child, you were just an incredibly loving being? Right? Why does that have to change? Again, it's just wiped out. a civilization of thinking and of love wiped out, and then you live in some virtual world where you have to compete for this idea called love, which a semblance of which perhaps you're lucky if the person across from you has any surviving notion of the term love, that they first loved the world. They were the love of the world. That no one mentions it. No mythology, no religion ever just says, what about the love you came into the world with? It's all about someone else's love and this love and this love. But no one treats you according to the incredible wealth of love you brought into the world. If your parents don't respect, at least as much as their religious figures and their sports figures, the love that you brought into the world, and they say, oh, I loved you when you were born, it was the best day of my life, right? Then they're pedophiles. They just take that love for granted. And then they say they love you, right? They know the name of the government. They know the name of all the people in their favorite sports team. They know all the members of the disciple club. They know all these things about the stars, the world, and time and space, but they never talk about the love with which you came into the world, your first love of the world. They never have any respect for that. Why not? They act like it doesn't even exist. It nowhere in any of the legal or religious literature of the world does it ever say, and we'll refer to the love of the child and the love that the child brought into the world as figure A. Abba Abba Ding Dong. And Abba Abba Ding Dong must be paid off. Abba Abba Ding Dong must be respected. No, sorry, you can't send this man to jail. He came in the world with Abba Abba Ding Dong. He gets clemency for the Abba Abba Ding Dong with which he came into the world. It should be that your love saves you from every discourtesy, every stain upon your spirit, every stain upon your dignity. Between the age of 0 and 30 should be erased by Abba Abba Ding Dong. It's the fucking love with which you came into the world, right? The world just runs right over you. I don't care if you do a murder spree, right? Spreading baby blood over people's faces down a pride parade. If you're under 30 years of age, you should get clemency for Abba Abba Ding Dong, right? And a world that can't effect that clemency doesn't deserve any of your labor, because you first had full access to this child, right? And then you say to me, he needs to be condemned to death. He's this, he's that, but you never refer to Abba Abba Ding Dong. It's like, as I come into this world, there's no Abba Abba Ding Dong. The actual legal instrument, the legal weapon, the power, the source of all the energy of society, the energy of love, embodied as you, spirit made flesh, as a child in the world between the age of 0 and 30. Abba Abba Ding Dong should get you everything you fucking want. Look at all these Christians. Look at all the wealth, the love of this guru of another. Abba Abba Ding Dong should get you some sizable fraction of that. Hey, I've got Abba Abba Ding Dong. Oh, you must be amazing. You were a child full of love who first so loved the world. Ooh, that's awesome. Hey, I'm Abba Abba Ding Dong too. And we'll have a religion called Abba Abba Ding Dong. And then you say, oh, but that would never catch on. That would never mean anything. That's just stupid. Exactly. Right? Exactly. That's how stupid this world is. As stupid as the Abba Dabba Ding Dong religion is, as inconceivable that it would or could ever catch on, that's as stupid and inconceivable that people could possibly ever learn to live the way they do. Minus any critical, legal, lawful, metaphysical, psychological, and scientific claim and right or some kind of knowledge that has to do with protecting the right of the love that you first gave the world. Everything's contingent upon it. Everything's contingent upon you believing what the world tells you in the name of love as a child. Everything it does, right? It does in the name of love of you as a child. You're a child. And we loved you. And everything we did was out of love for you, you ungrateful fuck. And that remedy is actually being wielded over you before you're even born. Because you're convicted, right, of being absolutely denuded of all Abba Abba Ding Dong. There's nothing valuable about what you first give the world. Jesus was the last one to ever love the world by giving himself to be tortured in a completely public, corporal fucking way that is celebrated basically about 30 or more days of the year, every year for the last 500 some odd years, all over the world. So, Abba Abba Ding Dong is actually pretty powerful. Abba Abba Ding Dong erases Christ. Abba Abba Ding Dong brings all religions to their fucking knees, and they come right before me, begging and growling for their drug of choice, which is my love, which is the love I first gave the world. And everything I accepted, that this world did everything it did out of love for me, out of love for children, and now it's dying of withdrawal pains. And you can't even fucking listen to me because you're all so out of Abba Abba Ding Dong. Abba Abba Ding Dong has no room in your palatial houses. Abba Abba Ding Dong is never fucking referred to in any of your text messages. Abba Abba Ding Dong is in any of your scriptures or Buddhist treatises. It's not in your Karma Sutra. It's not in your 5-year plan. It's not in your space, your time. It's not in quantum physics. It's nowhere. Abba Abba Ding Dong is fucking removed from this world like a tumor from the human body. You can't find it anywhere. There's no references to it in anything. It's been stricken from the entire human record. The love that you first give the world. Does that sound remarkable? They gave you a name, and your name is the name of love. Landon is love. That's not what love is. Love's name is Landon. Landon is love. I am love. I first loved the world. And I loved the world, and I trusted everyone that came to me in the name of love. I trusted that my home was a suitable place for my love. I trusted that the world had prepared itself to be worthy of my love. All these doctors and all these fancy things, all these people, right? And you sense somehow that it could shock them. It could shock the world, or it could make them laugh or cringe or lapse into some kind of psychopathic behavior if you said that Abba Abba Ding Dong is a crucial omission in all of your lives and in all of your society and all of your education. And in fact, it is omission from which people actually die by the millions every year. Right? We choke the life out of the love we first give the world. And then it's gone. It has no voice in any court in the world. But this man first so loved the world. No. But God first loved the world, and he gave his son to stand as a trustee and a dupe to show you how useful, expedient, and necessary it is to allow yourself to be prosecuted by a world that will not even permit the passing of the name of love and of you from its lips. Ah, squirrel. Think about that. Think about whether you believe there's some kind of black magic being practiced. Right? You got your survival, and I've got mine, and I want to enjoy my life. And you think, God, man, how do you ever fucking enjoy your life if you believe all that? And I could ask you the same question if you don't. And we could get into the realm of, all kinds of psychology, right? Drugs. And now we're on the same ground. You're not better than me, I'm not better than you. Welcome to my medicine hut. And you can tell me about what you do to get by, and I can tell you what I do to get by. I'd like to know, in fact, a little bit more about your mind. I'd like to know how you respond to my ideas. I love to find out how people respond to what I say. Unfortunately, they never surprise me. I've never been surprised. And so, if you wonder why I don't care what people think, or whether they understand what I say, it's because you never manage to surprise me, and it's never pleasant. It's never pleasant. It's never, ever pleasant. You just, hey, oh, I found a nut. Oh, that's so cool. Wow, he's eating it right in front of me. Oh, that's neat. It's just never pleasant. So, hi, hey. I don't like, hi, oh. Hi. You find anything else interesting? I know the squirrel. Wow. Hey. So we could talk, you know, tell each other how we get by, beliefs and the like. You could tell me about your mind. I could tell you about mine. Hi. It's only about 12:30. Oh, look at you. Hi. I like this place too. I like this tree. How high can you go? Oh, going down. You can come see me if you want. I don't mind. You know, don't dig your claws into me or anything. And you came down. Whenever I tell my mom, you know, people make me nervous, I stay away from people, I know in the back of her mind she slots that away as, oh, Landon's got social problems. That's pretty much all she does. So it's just, as you can imagine, like intellectually, as much as people may not understand, they don't understand my qualms about human beings. They don't take the time, they can't see that a human animal could be relatively stable human being and actually have a path in the world that makes you feel very afraid of other human beings because you see and feel what they're capable of and you don't forget it and you learn from it and you don't just pretend like it doesn't exist. You don't feel safe. There's something that even the safest life doesn't make me feel safe. Like I don't feel safe around people. Like there are people who come from homes, I'm sure that in many respects they would say are much safer than mine ever was, but I don't feel safe around them. And I trust that. It's like I guess if I didn't trust that, I would probably be like, oh wow, I'm crazy. Right? Like I just feel afraid of people for no reason. That's too bad. That's unfortunate. You know, God, I guess I'm missing out on a lot. But you know, you look, you listen, I hear what they sound like. I mean, you understand that not every human is the same, right? I mean, maybe you've heard some humans that scared you. Have you ever had a human scare you? Have a human ever been scary? Right? I could be scary. Humans can be scary. The massive human beings can be quite scary. And what I've noticed by spending time outside is that there's a very vast difference between being alert, like I am. I'm alert all day long. So one, I'm alert. You might wonder, like, what are you doing? What does this do for you? Well, I'm alert all day. People are at their desks, they're in their cars. You know what you're doing? You're going into trance because you have too much stimuli. Right? I'm actually being reasonable to my mind. Right? I'm a smart man. Like I can't have too much stimuli every day. This squirrel is having so much fun around me, and I probably drift off into various sorts of trances as I talk. I get into a certain state of mind, maybe because I'm accessing certain information, certain experience, but I'm also exploring. Now, you might say, well, I'm talking about the same thing all the time, but every time I'm talking about something, I'm exploring a new idea. I'm shaping my mind in a different way. I'm taking a chance. I'm taking a psychic chance. To open your lips is to take a chance, isn't it? To say anything is to take a chance. I notice that I'm not going among you and, oh, hi, he's coming closer. Hello. And come say hi if you want. Yeah. And I'm not coming into your house, and I'm not coming into your home, or I'm not forcing myself. I'm not asking people to come. Okay, she's licking her pussy. Nice. I like that you feel comfortable. Yeah, hi. I think the squirrel just showed me her pussy. I'm pretty sure she is a she. Hey. Oh, there you are. She got a bit higher, and then I didn't see where she was. She was waiting for me to see her. It was like, wow. I like how everything they do is biting the tail. No self-care. That's so cool. I'm glad I saw the squirrel. I don't really have any. Wow, she's spending a lot of time up there too. Is I'm alert. It's like I'm alert all the time. And like animals are alert all the time. You can be alert, and it's like it's a wonderful exercise just to be alert. So the fact that I feel nervous about somebody traipsing along or somebody hearing me or the world or past abuses, right? It completely keeps me alert all the time. So whatever happens, my mind never closes, right? It never goes into psychosis. You might say, well, you have diarrhea of the mouth, but my throat chakra doesn't have to close out here. My throat chakra had to close almost all of my life as a child to be around human beings. Quiet, closed, do what you're told. Quiet, closed, do what you're told. Quiet, closed, do what you're told. I've watched children walking to school. They have their heads down, quiet, closed. They're doing what they're told. They're not going, yay, school. Right? They're not going anywhere fun. So you know what? They know better. Right? Every child is smart enough because you first love the world. You're not stupid. Right? You know that school is shit. I knew that school was shit. You know that school is shit. And then your mind changes and goes, even though something is total shit, you have to endure it anyway. And that can kind of become the new moral. The old moral was things that feel this shitty are wrong, and there's nothing good about them. And the people that make us feel that way are bad, and we can't trust them. And then it's like, it's actually good. And even though they don't seem to know that we first love the world, they say that this is worthy of our love and that this is loving. So we first loved being treated like a slave. And essentially, part of our love as a child says, yes, okay, I will love you no matter what. I will love school. Okay, I love school. Mommy, even though you beat me, I love you anyway. But I think our love is more discerning than that. You see, children don't necessarily go to school because they love school. They love other things like being safe from any home that would send you to a school. Children can actually love that. Do you know what children love when they go to school? I've seen homes. I've been a tutor. I've seen inside people's homes. I've seen their children. They don't love being at home. They may not love going to school either, but they are trying desperately to get out of the situation. I said to one student, she was in grade 10, smart girl, so I shared this with her because I normally wouldn't. She's not the most bright, but she had a mind that the school wasn't really respected. And I found that part of her mind very quickly. Just like a massage therapist can find a lump in your back, I can find the greatest part of a child's mind because my mind is great, and I go right to the greatness of your mind. I want to know the greatness of your mind. And the thing is, when people get older, it's not there anymore. There's nothing for me to say around people. And so, in a sense, it's just a break when I'm around because whatever I have to do, I have to endure, be patient. Sometimes I have to protect myself. I mean, they're mostly crazy, but I never have to tell them anything about me or my life because to do that, I would have to talk to the greatness in them, and there's nothing great left in them. And I watch these children at age 10, 15, 16, 17, and that greatness is going to disappear pretty soon. You know that nobody's really talking to it. And she sucked at school. She gave it no attention. They gave her honors mark. She's, but, quite silly in many ways. She was just trying to be a child still, you see. But she was never allowed to be a child. And I just want to say that there's a lot of barbaric things inside the nicest homes. And it's not like I want to point at someone out there and say, you know, you're an awful person, any more than I'd want you to point at me and say, oh, look at that fucker over there, just doing what he thought he needed to do. He was a fucker. You know? And society is hard, and it puts you in a very bad position to your children, to your parents, everyone. And it's like, who the fucking answers for this? Nobody. You're supposed to be the king, Nimrod, Jesus. You're supposed to figure out everything by yourself. You're supposed to create mythological characters in your being so that the part of you that needs to suffer does. The part of you that just moves on no matter what does. The part of you that gets to be a little bit bitter does. The part of you that gets to take that bitterness out of others does. The part of you that can convince yourself you're still a decent person, which you probably are on some level, but let's face it, it's impossible at that point to be completely normal. And that's by the age of 8. You know, imagine what it's like by the age of 18. But I said to her, I said, you know, science claims to be an arbiter for all that is known or knowable. But science itself cannot be used to justify that claim. And she understood me. See, they're teaching evolution at school and things like that, right? And that's all I said. I didn't tell her evolution was false, and I don't believe in it. Because, you know, I don't believe in abusing people, and I don't believe in abusing their trust. It's not my job to tell someone's child how to think. It's not my job to tell them that their family is, you know, ill, even though they are. If you're teaching your children evolution, you're a schizophrenic psychopath, you're a serial killer, you're a pedophile. You're doing everything wrong there is in the most socially acceptable way possible. And, you know, I don't believe you should be condemned. I don't believe you should be convicted and sent to jail. But I do believe you're a very, very sick human being. You know, if I had medicine and I could just relieve you of that right now, I would. I would go, you know, we'd be like, don't worry, you don't owe me anything. I would just rather live in a world where people that believe in evolution don't exist. Right? That's all. I mean, because not because you're stupid or bad. It's just that religion is always stupid and bad. It makes people stupid. It makes you stupid. It doesn't honor the greatness of you. Right? Science claims to be an arbiter for all that is known or knowable. The science itself cannot be used to prove that. So how would you prove it? Well, they use religion. So actually, science is using religion to be the best it can be. It's little better than a religion itself. And you can sit in a fucking barely salvageable deck chair, lawn chair, in a forest and sound like a complete fucking cunt. And you can make that point, and someone's sitting there going, I hate it when he's so smart. I just want to fuck him up the ass. You know? And it's like, that's true, I am smart. I tested through several psychiatrists as the top percent of intelligence on Earth. So, about 1 every 70 million people have my level of intelligence, according to your world. Right? You know, because they don't want many, right? They don't want too many. I mean, I'm like the one that got through. I got through the system. Right? You're not supposed to test that high. Right? It's not a good thing. It doesn't bode well for you. Right? My guess is that most people would test on average. I wouldn't put a number to it, but let's say my IQ was about, 5,000. And I'm smart enough that I measure it my own way and I make up my own numbers. That's how smart I am. Smart enough not to use your numbers, which are rigged, stupid, and crazy, and out of this fucking world. But yes, I would agree with your system that among the most intelligent people in the world, you're generally going to see people with high verbal skills. You add a certain amount of fucking honesty and enough time, you got yourself a menace to society called Landon James. Also, the love that first so loved the fucking world, right, and loved myself as well, that I can sit here today and I'm still fucking alive. And you all can get away with fucking murder. And I don't want to hold you responsible for any of it. I don't want to muck up your good time. I don't want to kill your joy, right? I don't want to interfere with your ability to rape our children one generation of the next, right? I don't want to get in your way at all. I would not want to make you angry. You are the most powerful people ever. You can snuff the life out of your children faster than a speeding bullet. Hi, they're back again. Hey, yeah. If you want to come and say hi, you can. Hey. Uh, anyway, hi. I like that they feel they can do what they need to do around me. Makes my day. I can't build a canoe. Can't build a computer. I probably couldn't fix the toilet because I really couldn't bother. I've got other things to do, you know? There are neurosurgeons who can't bother to fix their own engine. It doesn't mean they're stupid, right? So just understand that in measuring intelligence, people often end up measuring income, right? So people make the mistake of thinking that because I have a very low income, that I'm not that smart. And if they do get how smart I am, it represents an irritation to their lot. Because in their whole life, no one who's really all that smart enough to be a doctor or a neurosurgeon should be sitting around in lawn chairs, living in their mother's condo. It just doesn't make sense, right? Right? Granted, it doesn't make sense. Now, the fact that it doesn't make sense doesn't mean that I'm right in anything that I'm saying, because I just have to be right for me. I don't even know who you are. I don't even care about you. I first loved the world, motherfucker. And my name is Landon James, not Jesus Christ. Right? I'm LJ. I'm not JC. My brother, he's a strange part of the family that likes to be tortured sexually. He makes, the worst S&Ms, sadomasochistic snuff filmmakers of Washington D.C. go, my God, I couldn't do that, but I wish I could. Yeah, so we don't talk to him, but he's got the world believing he's gonna come back from some point and wave his fucking hand or something, and people will be like, they'll go into a tribulation, the fire of extermination will be turned up, but then everything finally will be blessedly okay for an infinitesimal fraction of human beings. And those people, well, they're not going to be Christians at that point. They're going to be like, well, we're glad we're still alive, Jesus, but I don't think we like you anymore. We finally figured out that our death wish was planted in us like a mustard seed with a little bit of faith we gave it after our mind was sucked through our nose before we were 8 years old. Jesus, we don't want to come unto you anymore, or over you, or in you, and we don't want you coming anywhere near us. Not the first time, not the second time, not any time after that, nor anyone. In fact, we don't want anyone to come in us, around us, who comes in the name of love, right? Who never seems to come in our name. Here I am. I'm love. I'm going to produce a one-man play for the local theater. It's going to be called The Love Monologues. I am love. I am love. Hi, I'm love. How are you? Well, as love, I just like to say, it's been really tough putting up with all you loveless motherfuckers. I'm sorry if that doesn't sound loving, but then I'm love, so love is whatever I fucking want it to be. That's how I first accepted the world. I loved it because I let it be whatever the fuck it wanted to be. I let it say, hi, I'm a loving world. Trust me. Love me. And it did. And it got to be whatever the fuck it wanted to be. Now I'm love, and I get to be whatever the fuck I want to be. And I get to call it love, just like you. Just like you do to all your children. You can do whatever the fuck you want to them. You can do whatever the fuck you want with all these different children all over the world, and you get to call it love. You love them. Your country loves them. You love them. That guy down there, I bet you he loves them too. Hey, sir, do you love children? I don't hate them. How about you, man? You know? Oh, yeah. Wouldn't say no to a child right now. Be quite honest with you. Everybody loves them. You might as well be eating them every day. You love them so much. But ever, ever in your thoughts, in your mind, much less any of your books or science books, do you ever talk about the love that these children whom you love and who you say the world loves, that they first so loved the world, that none of its laws, none of its fucking claims or clause or laws meant a fuck all if you didn't respect the love that you and I first gave the world. It became invalidated, coerced at best, and that it ever became conflated with who we think we are and what we're supposed to do and our roles in the world, and in fact, even our personality, even our sexuality. Everyone out there who likes this video, get an erection. I feel it. I feel it. When I listen to your videos, I touch myself. It's so touching. So just basic logic. And everyone loves children. They should have a TV show on TV. They should just get rid of all the TV shows, put it together, and called Everyone Loves Children, and have 3 male characters, 3 female characters, all transgender, all repressed homosexuals. Have fun. And writers will be lining up like, I know this. I knew this before I was born. This is awesome. This is worldly stuff. Woo! All the irony. Oh, it's amazing. I mean, how much irony can you really play when everyone is role reversed and everyone's a repressed homosexual? They are the best conditions for the best TV shows. Did you know that? The best conditions of all popular TV shows in TV history are based on all of the characters being gender reversed, repressed homosexuals. All shows, all the movies. That's where they have their greatest ironic impact. Think about it. Now we're getting from the level of literature and scripture to the level of psychology, science, and magic. Right? So that your sex and your mind is so powerful that that's what's laid out around you to stimulate and irritate your mind. So all of the nuance of life that your abstract faculties need to be nourished by are being stunted by something super sophisticated enough to have garnered all of your attention with no remaining want, like it wants of nothing. You're not sitting around going, can we finally have a show that's not full of lesbians, please? You know, nobody's asking for that because they've dressed it up in all the right ways. And people dress up their lives in all the right ways to cover up the increasing amounts of sexual depravity, moral impotence, right? And all kinds of other chronic injuries to the human life because it's trapped. But the best way for it to be untrapped at that point and to achieve any kind of catharsis is to engage either with people or the world in a way where you're interacting with homosexuals, especially repressed homosexuals who constantly see the first solution of all human conflict is lying. Every show, lying is the first solution of all conflict, right? As in crime, so in comedy, so here, lying is always the same. Lying. And everyone has a reason to lie, and it's funny. Tragic. Lying. And everyone is role reversed, repressed homosexuals, even within the scripts themselves, within the plots. And it offers enough, and you take it, and you ask for nothing more, because that's the world you live in. It gives you catharsis to be, in some sense, a passively homosexual sociopath who gets to be the most fashionable, best, loved, loving, difficult, human, sympathetic, arduous, heroic person that you ever wanted to be between 2 commercials or the break of day. Right? Now that's a very psychically trapped situation. So when people say, "Oh, homosexuality, that's nothing," it's like, uh-huh. I first so loved the world, man. I first so loved the world, and I loved all of you. Homosexuals, pedophiles. I didn't know I was loving you, right? Because, you know, I wasn't told exactly what my love was going to. But I suppose if I'd known in advance, I might not have loved you all. But as it happened, I did. And so I'm going to honor that fact by, I respect myself as a child, so I have to figure I must have loved all of you, right? Before you started, fucking with me with all of your love, right? And never mentioning my love ever again, but the assumption being that all the love I'm being shown is at least as good as the love I first gave to it. In fact, I'm actually at the same time giving it my love and vouchsafing the fact that I have no reason to complain that it isn't loving. How dare I? No one even asked me if I think it is. I'm never consulted on it. It must be a very confident system to never consult me about whether or not I find it particularly loving. Being as the only reason it will ever be loving is because I give it my love. Well, it's, basically supposed to give me all of the love I need. So that's disrupted. Odin is right there. Fucking Satan is right over my left shoulder. Yeah, he's definitely talking with me right now. Hail Satan, man. Satan is like right fucking here. Satan is right fucking here. Horns and everything, man. Just a beautiful man. Got a nice little handlebar mustache. Looking good, Satan. Looking good. Wait a second. Is that a woman with a mustache? It's Ophelia. Oh, sorry. I thought you were Odin. He's a beautiful man. It's funny that squirrel is still behind me. He's been working on that note now for like 10 minutes. That's awesome. I love that we can actually hang out together. I'm hanging out with the squirrel. Squirrel's like, you're chill, man. Because I don't make any sudden moves and I'm always here. We've had lots of eye contact. I think we're basically boyfriend-girlfriend now. I would like to announce that my first girlfriend is actually the squirrel. We haven't actually consummated the arrangement, but if you really think about it, it's like we've already had sex. I feel like I've already had sex with the squirrel. I love this girl so much. She's just like, she does her own thing. She finds nuts to eat. She doesn't eat mine. She climbs up the tree. She looks at me. She licks herself. It's a beautiful relationship. There's some animals it's a little bit sexual because it is a female squirrel. And one of the reasons I think she accepts me is because I'm male. So I can even smell. I can smell her sexual hormones. She's like, I've been eating this nut for 15 minutes and he hasn't noticed me yet. It's like, ooh, he's just trying to make me hornier, isn't he? So she's going at the nut. It's like, oh, when is he going to come to me and give me his nuts? His big salty man nuts. I do a video of a squirrel like sucking my nuts. I'm fucking jacking off. It's like YouTube is like, this video has been removed for inappropriate content. The people at YouTube are like, we haven't seen that one yet. The censor at YouTube's like, I want a copy of that. You can sell it on the deep web. He becomes a millionaire. It's like, fuck, man. Where's my nuts? My nuts. Oh. Nuts as was. The story of marriage. Me, nay, my nuts. When someone says nay, N-E-E, it means not, but used to be. So nay is used to be. It's no, but used to be. Or just used to be. So like, it's actually a little more specific than that, but I'm making it do what I want it to. And so like, nay, it's like, nay, I love the world. I used to love the world. Nay, the man that first loved the world. So, used to be the boy who loved the world. And that would be like the story of my life, right? Up until like, maybe like 5 years of age when I was first taken to school. You know? And then a few years in, but certainly by the time 9 or 10, I wouldn't say that I'm the boy who loves the world anymore. Not because I hate the world, but because I'm actually not physically able to love it. There's just not enough for me to love because it's hurting me. It's making me go to school. It's hurting my mind. And when I graduated and went to university, it became clear to me that school had hurt my mind. Right? Well, these communist systems, they hurt your mind. They take a lot of your time. It's worse than fucking TV. Right? And these teachers, it's a relationship with someone that's actually quite suspicious. And they claim to be experts on loving children. If you ask any teacher if they love children, and if they say yes, they're a pedophile. If they say no, they're an honest human being. Just ask them if they love children. If you ask me if I say I love children, no, absolutely. I hate the little fuckers. I don't want nothing to do with them. Right? I love the fact every day that your happiness as children has nothing the fuck to do with me. The moment, and you may agree with this, that any child in the world has a happiness that has anything to do with me will be the end of the fucking world. Right? Let that never be the case. It shouldn't be the case. I can be useful to the happiness of others, but it never depends on me. It really just depends on you, your happiness. You don't control all of it. It depends on many other factors, many of which seem to be arbitrated for by human beings of dubious mental health and hygiene, but it is nonetheless still yours to be had. And when you have it, it's yours. Nobody gave it to you, you earned it. The world made you earn it. It shouldn't, but it does. And it's great when you get it. I never feel like the greatest evil I have to deal with is something I should have to deal with. There's things, just people I've known, conversations you have, you just want to take a shower. You just want to take a shower like down deep into your core. There's a reason why the Greek word for soul is daemon. Two-faced son of a bitch. See, I think the soul in people is not who they are. But the soul is what is sold to people. Being who you are means being your soul, means being soulful. Soulful means so full of shit, right? That you could charm the pants off a nun, you know? And talking to people, it's amazing, what they use their words to do. White people are never just talking, but they're always selling their shit. They're always selling you a line of shit. And it sucks because, you like them. I like a lot of the work you do, the things you build. Your sacrifice, your dedication, your hard work, your sweat. People who build things, people who build houses, people who fucking make things, fix things, people who fix the water supply, sewer, roads. Not that I like roads. deliver our mail, people who fucking do stuff. You know, work at supermarkets, especially the ones that stand at the cash all day long. Mostly women, right? Like there should be a fucking program to relieve supermarket cashiers, give you twice the wage, right? And half the hours. Perfect. Right? Now you don't have to die selling me my food. Right? I would appreciate that because it makes me fucking miserable. Right? And so when I'm eating my fucking 100th bag of kettle potato chips, right, I don't have to feel like shit. I'm a selfish man and I don't like feeling that way. Anyway. There's people out there. Did some important rituals here the last few days. Yesterday when I got here, I was like so happy to do a shit. I was like, whoa. Like, there's some serious health related stuff between me and this place and taking a shit. Because I was worried I wouldn't be able to. And my mom got me some pants today. I'll pay her for them, but I can't stand shopping. I said, and she loves shopping. I said, do you like shopping? She said, yeah. Do you want to? She's like, yeah, I'd love to buy you a pair of pants. I'm like, okay. Because you know, depending on where I go, it's just like, ew. I prefer like the big stores because the little ones, you're in this little place and you're stuck with the person that walks up to you. And I don't necessarily really want to try on clothing around people. It's kind of a personal thing. It was like that when I was a child. I would go with my mom and my dad, and we would go buy a shirt or whatever. And it's like it was okay for them to do it, but I just like when I first went to go buy myself clothing, it was like I don't know. It just seems like weird. The idea of like men and women taking off their clothing in these little stalls, you know, women with keys coming in and out and knocking on the door. The squirrel is still back there. I've never spent so much time with a squirrel in my entire life. Well, I got a whole lot of love. 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 I feel like if I sit here with the squirrels, just gonna like run up my back. Come on my face and then run up the trees. Oh, there she comes. Ooh, coming back, are we? Oh, tired. I think I'm still catching up from stress. Still smells. parents. Oh, hi. I think they were just kind of coming up behind me. That was funny. And then I turned around and went up the tree. Hey, hey. I'm pretty sure they want to come on camera. I just have to stop looking around. If I just sat here being cool, the squirrel probably would have come from there. Wow, such a beautiful creature. Going for the, looking for food. I noticed that a lot of cottonwood had blown in here and going back over. Yeah, there's an ant. I've let the squirrel go out of my visual range now, so I don't know where they are. Yeah, sure enough, came a lot closer behind me. That's cool. So, came up around, came a little bit closer behind me, and then it's neat. Hey. Coming up a little closer at my 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, closer. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Coming up, coming from my bag. Hey, coming up behind me. Coming up right like a foot away from my bag. Clearly is very curious. Hey. I'd rather you just came up to my hand. Wow, that's the closest I've come to wildlife for a while. I just don't know. With any creature, there's like a little bit of a. Maybe over time we can get to be friends. Pleasant though. There's a pleasant air. Okay. Just roving around the area. So this week, yeah, just hopefully it's a nice series of videos before I leave. This YouTube forum. And maybe go back to writing a bit more. Craving new adventures. Maybe I'll teach myself how to fly. But I'll say to them, I don't need to know how to land. They'll be like, 9/11, 9/11, quick, call the president. He doesn't want to know how to land. Well, because I want to fly up to the angels and I want to touch the face of God in the pearly gates. I don't need to land because I'll float out of my body and my plane will gently come with 200 pounds of C4 explosive into a local playground. It's not my fault. It's the price you pay for getting close to the fall. And you see in that type of thinking that real or imagined, that you believe it, right? You believe that the 19 hijackers on 9/11 went to flight schools and told people they didn't need to know how to land. Like you believe all that, right? You know, you believe all. It's an incredible story. And agencies didn't communicate. It's just like an incredible myth, and you believe it because you know down deep that humans can rationalize anything, right? And you like to get in on it. You want to be in on the incredible mythology, right? The mythology, the religion, it's all a lie. It's all an incredible rationalization for violence. So by the time 19 hijackers come along, Americans are going, I wouldn't do anything for 73 virgins. I wouldn't do anything for one virgin. But I do believe what the government says, that these guys didn't need to know how to land. I believe incredible bullshit like that. My incredible bullshit is better than anyone's credible bullshit, because it doesn't matter that it's a lie. What matters is that your lie is the best, right? And if your lie is the best, and that's what religion and mythology are for. Greco-Roman, everything. It's just different orders of religious, theatrical, theocratic types of storytelling to command your mind and to get you interested into the best possible lies, the best possible way your mind could be populated by narratives that demand a lot of your abstract faculties and make unusual demands upon your morality and your sex function, your sense of aesthetic proportion and moral proportion, and begin to dominate regions of cultural and mass belief that preclude you ever actually developing those faculties in a normal, humane fashion. And then the only conspiracy you need to be involved in is the conspiracy to survive, pay the rent, right? What else do you got left to do? Nothing. What do you do when you control the world? You go to work and pay the rent. What do you do when you're in on the most violent mythology in existence? You go to school and pay the rent. You take a shit. You open a can of Chef Boyardee and put your feet up and watch some girl-on-girl porn. It doesn't matter what you do at that point. You're a good soldier. You know that you've got your mind wrapped around the best bullshit there is. Compared to which your own bullshit, or my bullshit, or my religion, that the world comes from a stone, right? And that stone made a sound in the great ethers, the way my sound that makes words, that sound made the heavens and the earths. And that's my bullshit. It's not the best bullshit, though, is it? It's just mine. And that's what I want. I don't want to be a person who just believes the best bullshit. I want someone who believes my own bullshit, right? Consciously. Because what I've noticed is that my bullshit's pretty strong. It's like it's got incredible protection. I'll tell you why. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody believes it. Nobody gives a fuck. It's the most incredible religion there is. My own bullshit. It gets me nowhere. It doesn't get me laid. It doesn't do anything. But giving myself the power to talk about anything, my bullshit is incredible. Because I know where it comes from. My own depraved mind. And so that stone is important to me. Because the world came from it. That's right. Stones are my sacred object. You could never, ever defile the most sacred object in my religion. You could sooner defile the mountains deep. Right? My church is all the rock this planet ever was. You cannot ever penetrate my religion. All the nuclear bombs in the world are not going to destroy my church. My church isn't based upon this rock. It is this rock. Rock of ages, indeed. I built this city. We built this city on rock and stone. We built this city. We built this city on rock and stone. They say you can't get blood from a stone. You're wrong. Why is the Excalibur planted into a stone? Right? This is old English poem, and it's an allegory, and it describes a stone. Right? What is it called? It's called the stumbling block or something. And the stumbling block, the stumbling stone, it's left in the road, and people pass by, and nobody moves the stone. And one day, years and years on, finally someone comes along this road, this ancient road, and removes the stone. And the idea is, who is this person that removes the stone? But the fact is, the stone is everything. It's where everything comes from. That's why none of the other fuckers were moving it out of the way. The story is a completely opposite moral tale. It's describing not the movement of a bad world to a good world, but the good one to the bad one. The bad one is when you take the stone out of your equations. The philosopher's stone is all stone, because everything comes from stone. Stone, from the beginning, stone. Stone is the prima materia. Frozen into its fundamental form in the conception of all the heavens and the earth. The heavens sound forth in and out of stone. The music of all creation is in all the stone, and the stone resonates through all the limbs of all the trees, and actually through all of our limbs, through all of our bones, and the blood that comes from it. So that's part of my genesis, that's part of my medical philosophy. Right? What do we say when someone's strong? Strong as stone. My word is stronger than oak, you know? But if it's not as strong as oak, that makes you a fucking liar, doesn't it? If your love is as good as the temple stone where all our children could play and learn from the tomes of heaven and earth itself, the songs of the tomes of heaven and earth, if our love is not as good as that, and you don't even have to call your love love. You could say, I don't love my children. My children first so love the world, and I try to honor their love. I don't love them. I honor their love. Their love. You know what? They love me. And they recognize the love I have to give. And I give them the love they recognize in me that I have to give. But I tell them that I love them. It means nothing. They deserve love. I deserve love. I just have to honor the love they first gave to me. My children started their relationship with me. They're the ones who talk to me. Well, I tried to talk to them. The squirrel's like at my 6 o'clock. She's like, you're wily. You actually have senses. How did you get those senses? I got those senses out here. My lady, my girlfriend. I'm going to call her my lady. I'm going to get a picture of her and say, Mom, here's my girlfriend. I'll take it from the internet. I'll put it in the family newsletter. Landon's got a girlfriend now. Like a squirrel chewing on a nut. This is Emily. She likes peanuts and long walks in the forest. Don't worry, I'm much too big for her. We don't actually, you know. She's more of a nut girl. Not that I don't have to, lay down the long arm of the law every now and then. But I try to wait till she's sleeping. Oh, goodness. And all this discussion, where does it become relevant? Every way the world first talked to me about love and showed me its love and conflated various social circumstances. The often intoxicated and feeble attempts my parents took to take care of me. And I learned that that's a pretty creative term. So, right? That word care, who ever thought? Like C-A-R-E, you can fit a lot of shit into what most people convince themselves is caring about a child. And so they're pedophiles, right? Because they always care about children. They always love them, right? It's no one's fault that all these children are committing suicide and dying every year. All of them are loved. They're all loved by somebody. The person killing them always loves them. The people killing them always care about them. So your love is worth nothing. That's basically what humanity has told children. Our love and our care is worth fuck all, right? But you still have to do what we say. And when you tell children that, they think, their brain just goes, fuck, shock, change the way we function. These people are scaring us. We're going to die if we don't do what they say. Quick, shock, don't talk, don't have pain, don't really feel any of this. Just keep going and be whoever they need you to be. Okay, here we go. And they become psychotic, right? It just slowly happens. It happens in stages. It may happen in a moment. And then in your life or in their life at some point, you're aware, sometimes at this age, sometimes that something just changes. It's like nothing ever goes back after that. And as you get older, you can say, okay, this was a moment, or there were many moments in a relationship or as a child where things just went, uh-oh, this was obviously completely wrong, you know. Right? Maybe there's a point where it's just something happened in the world, and you said, okay, that's completely wrong. And the world often has narratives and stories to make you feel how completely wrong the world can be. And then other stories to sort of go, you see a cat movie on YouTube, and the cat's licking the baby's ears, and you're like, everything's okay in the world. What was I thinking? Okay, I know they slaughtered millions of people, but as long as cats are still licking babies' ears and they're laughing, I'm just going to have to content myself with that. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Internet. I'm going to go back to work now with a song in my heart and a glow in my smile. You can take a picture of me and put me at a bus bench. Communism is wonderful. Hi. Boy, you sure do get around. Hey, want to come hang out? I don't have any nuts. I have some toast. She might like some toast. Do you like peanut butter on toast? I just threw some toast in. She didn't see it. She's got peanut butter. Oh, she found it. Do some more. This peanut butter is good. Here you go. She went on it. Yeah. Right. Oh, she likes that. She's going off into the woods. Mission accomplished. He's gonna go masturbate. He likes me. He really likes me. I've never fed a squirrel. That peanut butter is pretty filling. I think she'll like it. Thing is, I'll have to keep bringing peanut butter home. She could probably smell it. I was like, I know you have something. You're holding. Don't you love the lingo of like the drug world? I'm not holding, but I can give you the number. I have a pretty tried and true way of um, dealing with certain types of people. Never, though, most of the time, really, do I have anything in my mind, any training, any self-training, self-suggestion, no matter what someone's doing to me, do I seek to overpower or humiliate people. Very, very rare occasions do I have to raise my voice. And in some occasions, I think it has struck a humiliating nerve in the odd person who was just in a very bad state of mind. And if they just could have some humility, but they don't. Right? Violence was being done, to someone in public. Violence was going to be done, and I took care of it. Right? I made sure that that person could, one, exhaust their rage on me, someone who could absorb some of it, tell them off, and then I ended up soaking up one day just so much poor behavior that I got at least 3 different men in shit between morning and afternoon. And it's just, I was just following the energy. I became basically deputized by nature. And it's like, it really is costly to me to a degree. Sometimes you get a bit of a reputation or what have you, but not with anyone of any substance. So there's old men now that just, they don't say hi to me either because I told them not to or because they don't want to. And they just avoid me. There's some shit that's just not okay to me. Not where I live, not where there's other people around. And there's some bad people out there. Now I don't really care, in the sense that everyone has the right to walk around, and I don't care what you do, as long as you're not clubbing baby seals and hurting children. Like, I realize that human beings just get up to a lot of fucked up shit, and it's not my right to tell you what to do. I'm not a policeman, but if you get in my face, right, still there's a good chance I'll leave you alone. But if you get in my face a little too much, now you've told me you need some help. Now I'm honor bound to give you some assistance, and you may or may not enjoy the ride. And some people just stop immediately. As soon as you go into that energy, they just stop. Those who've been around children, who are not delinquent because they were born that way, by the way. But what do? You raise your voice. You shouldn't, but like, say with a child, you could just say, hey, and they'll just, for the time being, but you haven't really dealt with the situation. Then if you need to, you follow up and say, okay, this is why I raised my voice. Do you understand? Do you have anything to say? Like, oh, Father, I didn't like it. I don't think you should have. It's like, okay, well, I'll take that into consideration and get back to you. Because if it was important enough for me to do it, I'm obviously not going to change my mind right away. And take some time, you think about it. You got yourself a real problem. You've treated your son in a way that he doesn't like, that you thought you should. And he doesn't understand why you did it. And you think, well, why did you do it? You try to explain to yourself, why did you do it? And then you might say to yourself, if you're a parent, I don't really want to think about that. I shouldn't have to. He's my son, I'm his mom, I'm his dad. He should just fucking listen to me. I'm going to have a couple beers and I'm going to fuck him up the ass. I'm going to let him go. I'm going to cut him loose. Hey, that's enough. I'm not talking to you anymore about that. Now what have you done? You've shown him that you're a stupid moron whom he should never trust. And it's like, happy birthday, right? It's easier for you as the average working redneck. It makes your life a lot simpler, right? But you don't know fuck all about children. You don't know fuck all about people. And you yourself would never want to be treated that way, but you probably were at a very young age. And you can't help yourself, right? And I know that. I know you can't help yourself. You should think about why you ever raise your voice to a child. You should explain that to yourself to your complete satisfaction. At that point, I trust you. You know, in the sense that if you've got the kind of mind that's worth my respect, I respect you. If you don't have that kind of mind, yeah, I guess it's none of my business. But just tell me you gave it some thought to your satisfaction. Don't tell me you said, oh, fuck it, and told your son or daughter to fuck off. Go to them and say, look, I thought about it, and this is why I said what I did. And if they don't like that, you go back and you think about it some more. You see what kind of relationship that is? That's a normal, healthy relationship with the younger person. Now they have some say in it. Now, if you determine that they're just a cunt, now you ask yourself, why did I turn my child into a cunt? Why did I turn my child into a cunt? Now you go back and go, why did I say that to them after I turned my child into a cunt? Now you keep thinking about that. Then you come to a guy like me and you say, hey man, how did I turn my child into a cunt? Well, let me explain something to you. You're a cunt, right? Do you love your child? Then repeat after me, I'm a complete fucking cunt and I can't help myself. 1,000,000 times, then come back to me and watch a few of my videos. Have some fucking humility and thank all the gods in fucking heaven and all the devils on this earth that you ran into me. The fact that you think your child's a cunt. You know where I got that story from? From one of you working people who I sat with in coffee shops where all the dirtbags always come, and leaned across the table and said, you know what? My 18-year-old daughter is a cunt, and I tell her she's a cunt to her face on a regular basis. And he had a bit of a Scottish accent. It's like, she's a cunt, and I tell her she's a cunt. This guy's a retired engineer. And he just sits there. He's got these fucking serial killer glasses. You know? He basically looks like the guy in Falling Down, played by Michael Douglas. That's basically what he looks like. And you know what? Okay, I said my piece. All right, he's not here to defend himself. I said my piece. And it has to be said. And I will say it again many times because I know what I'm hearing. I know part of what I'm hearing. And it's not good. I don't like it. But I'll say this about him. I just don't think he's a bad guy. He's a hardworking man. And I learned something about him. Okay? And he'll never see this. I learned something about him. Right? I liked his energy. Well, pretty low-key guy. You know, you might come up to some people and you can just feel that about them. They've had a tough life, whatever, we all do. But you know, they're not going to let loose on you unless you really push them. You know what I mean? They're pretty patient. They see things straight. They see straight. They got a good mind. They know right from wrong. They know bullshit when they smell it. Right? Right? And so if you're in their company, it's worth something because, you know, they're actually a fairly good judge of character. I would say that about this guy. He's worked closely with men his whole life in difficult conditions. You get to be someone who probably knows the kind of people you're dealing with. Right? Fair, admirable, respect. Kind of a nice thing. So, decent guy. But you know, that's not a decent way to talk about your daughter. Oh, hi, you're back from war? Jesus. Okay. You want a little more? Oh. I'm feeling generous because the forest has been so nice to me. Yeah. There you go. I'll come and give it to them by hand. Hi. I'm holding their drug of choice. Oh, you want to come too? I left food there. get your peanut butter treat. Here. I'll put it at the bottom of the tree. Put it at the bottom of the tree. See if they climb down. I don't think she wants me to think she's easy to get. She wants me to think she's easy, you know? It's not one little bit of peanut butter on gluten-free toast, you know, it takes more to get her into bed. You know? She's like, you think you can give me some peanut butter? I'm gonna lick your balls. That's not the kind of squirrel I am. You treat me like a lady here. This would be a good time to play New York, New York. If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. New York, New York. This guy's crazy. Start spreading the virus. Start quitting your job. Sit down and think about what you want to tell your boss. And true, it's easy for me to say that you should take yourself away from gainful employment when you have to pay your rent. It's just that all of us have so much debt. No matter how hard you work, it seems to make everything hurt. New York, New York, New York. I love how they call it New York, right? As if to tell you it's still Britain. It's still King George. I think King George was very happy with the American Revolution. Americans think he didn't enjoy the outcome. I think it's amazing. America, you're amazing. You're like the special kid in the class, and like, you're so special. We had a revolution, and we're independent, and we're going to celebrate that on July 4th. And King George isn't going to like it. I'll tell you, he's not going to like it. We're going to stick those fireworks up his ass. And you know what? The more you believe it, the more you justify it. I mean, who wouldn't think it's justifiable to control you when you'll believe fucking anything? You know? If I believed fucking anything, I deserve to be taken in. Right? If you're someone in life who believes anything anyone tells you, right? Or if you know someone like that, what often happens to them? Right? What do you know happens to people who believe fucking anything? Right? Now expand that to include all Americans. Right? Right? And then, yeah, we can laugh. I'm a Canadian and I'm laughing, but I really shouldn't be laughing because it happened to us too. And we don't even have your excuse. We didn't even fight for it. At least you guys put up a fight. I guess Americans could say that, like, even if we were duped, at least we put up a fight. My ancestors owned your ancestors. No, that's just kidding. My ancestors were owned by the king before you were. I'm an owned longer. I have longer ownership papers. That's why I have a longer dick. It just looks like it's only 2 millimeters. In fact, it actually goes up my entire body. And out of my heart, where I make incredible bullshit about how my dick is as big as my body. And it's coming out of my mouth right now. It's like, hello, I am Landon's cock. Please, please respect me. I know I don't look like a normal dick, but I'll show you. I taught him a skit. It goes like this. It's called The Awakening Cock. Thank you, thank you. Performing at Broadway between, I think they gave me the dates July 9th, 10th, and 11th of this year, 2020. Tickets are available now. They're, I think, quite reasonable considering the amount of work, the craftsmanship that goes into playing my role as the awakening cock. And I know it doesn't seem like much, but you see it on the stage with lights, and there's all these celebrities, and they're singing the song that I wrote for them to sing while I'm doing the awakening cock, and it goes something like this. Tom Cruise and Jesus have something to please us. Maybe it's because, like the nave of this church, there's an altar for torturing Jesus. If that seems a little too abstract, that's okay, because we have a contract to tell you whatever we're told. It's a tale as old as time, when we really need to lie to you. We cradle your genitals all the way back into waters where you had a motherland. But now you roam, you are all alone, and lost as you are, you work to the bone. Dum da doom da hoopa dee day, do ba dee doo da do ba dee day. Oom ha doo ba dee doo. See how they welcome everything. Doom doo 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 doo. Actors rule the world, man. Actors rule the world. It's what I would do. I love that when you smoked enough weed, you can like talk about who rules the world and be like, that's how I would do it. That's a smart ruler, man. You know what he did? Right? He got actors to rule the world. You know? I look at you people and I think, if I can fool you as biggity biggity big as I can, and you accept it, I find my throne completely justified. And to justify the throne is the only way to really substantiate it. Everything is about justifying being ruled the way you are. And if you spend your life justifying it to yourself and to your rulers, that's the world you're going to get. You have the world you're working for. If you don't want that world, you have the children you trained. If you don't want those children, don't train them to behave that way. Take a chance. Who knows? Let them tell you who they are. And don't just sit around watching TV waiting for Geraldo Rivera to get an insight about the flatulence that just came out of his mouth last week. Read a book or two about go outside in nature, right? Hike a few sacred vision trails and see what your children have to say to you. When you hear your children's voices speaking through nature, you're just about maybe at the right beginning of the preparation for the preparation of going to the school to get into the school to get into the school of being a mother or a father. You know? you go to a school to do everything else. Why don't you go to a school to be a mother and father? You know, just whacking off with Mary Jane in the locker room is not enough. And that feeling that you have, that you know what it takes to be a mother and a father, that feeling is called a psychotic delusion. It was trained into you, right? And that is vouchsafed and supported by the tenor of the world around you. People take more care to the environment of their dog. I've heard my mom talk about her dog and other people's dogs and what they do to make their dogs happy more than she ever did to her children. Right? If my mom has ever read a book on psychology, I'm sure it was dog psychology. Okay? I met white people here who specialize in child development who tell me, right, without any word of a lie, that they successfully applied the way they would treat children to their dog. And the reason they told me this is because I looked at their dog's behavior for the first time and said, I don't want to be rude, but your dog seems almost human. No word of a lie. Right? Those people don't talk to me anymore. You know why? They don't have any fucking boundaries. They don't have normal boundaries. That squirrel has more boundaries than they do. You know, you guys out there, people, have to start thinking about where you draw lines. Because where you draw lines in me, around me, how you draw the world in your mind, not just your property line, but other things, right? And you'll notice, you know, when people piss you off, what do you say? You crossed a line. And then you think, fuck, either you've got to redraw the map, like Palestine, or you fucking what? You mount what? A defensive procedure to reestablish the line? Oh, I like this one. You sit down with them and try to have a rational discussion about offenses to the line. And then your friendly neighbor all of a sudden becomes a sadistic psychopath, a wizard of words that makes you feel like they're doing you a favor by helping you erase the line. Because, you know, maybe that makes for a better friendship. You know what I mean? In all the ways that lines, your lines don't matter, but the world's lines become better established, pretty soon you're living around the lines that the world have established to protect the world from you and to make your relationship with everyone better. Right? And what happened to your lines? You're like Palestine. Whenever Israel or some other suitable representative comes into your world, they just beat a few of your women over the head, bomb a few of your children, and then go back to Hanukkah. Right? The rest of the world is informed of the appropriate information about the Palestinian terrorist organization that actually killed 5,000 million Jews, and that's just this morning. And how these children were an unfortunate result of Israel's moderate but proportional defense of its borders. You know, I mean, and it just goes on and on year after year. Nothing against Israelis, you know. I'm sure, like all told, you would be as offended as any of us are. You know, you're not to bear any burden for this. No one. I mean, we're all bearing the burden. Right? Don't be mean to Jews. Don't be mean to Israel. You know, it's not going to help anything. You know, and even up to the soldier dropping the bomb. And think about your soldiers. Think about how you treat the nature around you. You know? I made a decision today. I saw a spider in the house, walking on my mom's shoes. And she was chatting away. You know what? I said to the spider, as long as I'm here, we don't have a problem. Mi casa es su casa. I'm not going to mess with your crap. I got other things to do. Go and find a nice place to crawl. Make a home for your family. I don't care. Because they never bothered me none. Like, ants get in the house, mice can get out of the house. Spiders, you never get an infestation of spiders. You get what? One here, two there. You know? Spiders are great. You want them around. You know what they have? Spirit of language. You want that spirit in your house. You want your children to learn about life in a home where spiders represent the spirit of language. Do you like talking? Then thank the medicine of spider. The medicine of spider has been like one of the core medicines of my entire life. Every time I think of spiders, it just makes me happy. You know, it's a spider's life out there. You know, you weave your webs, the winds shift, light falls through in some prismatic way. The moonlight goes through and it captures things. And when the human eye or eyes graze upon these meadows fair, these celestial playfulness, it's like a circuit is connected, a circle. It all comes together. It all comes together. Let that blow through your heart like the wind blows through an ancient spider's web. They come and they go, and you can always rely upon another web being woven, even as one is destroyed. You could no sooner destroy the web of life than you could destroy all the spiders in the world. The spirit of language, to hold strong, to tell the truth. I gotta worry about invaders. Damn it. Usually it's just to fuck around with. Birds taking off a little bit. Jesus. I'm gonna have to get up. It's funny. I just went to, there's people out there making a nuisance of themselves and they're just kicking around in the forest.
I've never really had people here, but it's a very unbalanced energy. But I was going to come over here. This is where I put peanut butter toast for the squirrel. So I guess they came along. Oops, down here. I don't know if they're meth addicts or what they are. So. I hear them just making noise. Like crazy people. They're just out there. Oh. Making noises. They just make random sounds. It's like they're just making random sounds. Creepy. And I just said to their spirits, like, just get lost. And, it's almost like they're trying to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm literally in a forest. I do think, though, you can be at the right place at the right time. And I would say white people are always a good reason to get moving. They always give you a good excuse to move. They're like the spirit of motion. Because they may come back for another pass. But I want them to now, I'm going to have to hide my chair and my board. Because I can't assume they won't come back when they do, right? Because they came close enough to sense my energy, right? Now they're just fucking around somewhere else. But very mischievous energy, which you can find with meth addiction, stuff like that. Here's some fresh deer. I always find it's always a good idea to just be as innocuous as possible. So I don't need them to get too good a look at me or to make too much of an acquaintance with them. And then if they want to mess with the area, take a shot. Now I'm going to take this piece of wood. Put it in there. That's the wood that I want to save, so I know that tree very well, so. Put that tree there. And then the wood's down there. Good. Yeah, they were, well, quite vocal for a while, which in some sense I think was maybe their misgivings about finding someone there, but also I noticed they were just whooping it up really good, which alerted me to their, and then I saw some birds flying away, so I know there's some deeply disturbed men, which sometimes come around here, and the weather is improving, so I guess it brings them out. And I think there are just different bands of young men sometimes who do various drugs, and they band together. They've had some serious shit happen to them. You got to allow for that. Good. I want to make sure I don't leave anything behind me. Doesn't look like anyone's coming. They fucked off. Right, for a while, their hoots and hollers were designed to intimidate, and so what I did is I just expressed nonchalance. Just wanted to check out what the squirrel had done and stuff, because like fundamentally, like, there's nothing wrong with us encountering each other unless you have war in your heart. And I suggest you listen to the fear, because I can feel it in my blood. It's like if you come to me in an inappropriate state of mind, right? And it's good to have that. I basically repulse them, but I'm going to say I repulse them for the time being, maybe not permanently, right? You never know just how great the mischief lives in people, so I'm going to take that as an indication to you. And I'll get home early today, which is good. This is a nice part of the forest. I haven't actually been down here for a while. The time of year when people are out and children are known to scream and shout. Take off my sweater, my hat, I need them. Just gonna take a moment here. That was interesting with the squirrel. But yeah, those guys' hoots and hollers all of a sudden just started to disappear, and they roamed on somewhere else. So, but they kept it up for a while, and it wasn't a good feeling, whether they meant it or not. It wasn't a good feeling. So that's why I go, and what's really cool about that is I had such a good time, and I had some white people basically tell me, tomorrow I'm going to go to Qualicum, and I've got everything I need, and that'll be good. And then I'll appreciate going somewhere where I don't have those kinds of disturbances to worry about. I do have plenty of others, but if there is at least a shortage of them, we're not doing so. I'm looking behind me to see if those men come back. I wouldn't like them to destroy my pentagram, but I don't want to get too involved with their activities as much as they have some right to claim over these forests, as much as I do. So just let it be. I have an uncommon landhold in here. In other words, it's not really mine, but if I think people are being discourteous, then they know, like, if they come in now and they destroy the pentagram, I took my chair away, but they have no reason to believe that I don't have some personal connection to it, then that'll be good, because it means I'll never see them again. Because they certainly never want to see me again, right? And that's up to them. And if they want to be able to see me again, they'll leave it alone, in which case they will earn a lot of credibility with me. Right? Hey, here's a guy who's not trying to fuck you up the ass. Just trying to honor what is sacred about this place. And about making paths on this earth. Make a path, Make it one right now, right? This is not the easiest path through here. Hopefully people aren't around, but there's no guarantee. Oh, that was perfect. I'll have to remember that one. Okay, well, let's go. So right before the logs, okay. Right before, because it's easy to miss, but it's right on the other side of this trail. There's a very hard to see deer trail. Okay, got it. I learned something today. Good. And a nice interaction with that squirrel. If I could avoid 2 leggers all the way home, I shall count myself very lucky indeed. And then we'll sing some songs, tell some tales. That was exciting. That was exciting. Usually, like I said, people you'll see in the woods are pretty cool, but those guys were in their own state. I think. So that was cool. I think that worked out well at the end. Yeah. It's like that. Not like they're not allowed to disturb me, It's like, but it's just energy. If they wanted to approach, they could. I would have said hi. You want to smoke a joint? Whatever, If they're just, but if they feel uncomfortable, or if they're anxious, and if they're volatile, as they could be, probably not a good idea. Right? And around my energy, if that is so, they're going to feel anxious and uncomfortable, right? More than even normal. I know I'd be afraid to see a strange man in the woods. But I got rid of the chair pretty good. And I got rid of my board, which I like so much. I wouldn't want them to take that, so. Yeah. And then they won't find the board. They may find the chair if they decide to. I didn't want to, but you can't hide the fact that the place is important to me, considering there's a giant pentagram sitting there and there's feathers all over the place. Oh please, don't run into negative people. My mom actually doesn't know it, but she weakens me when I tell her things like, I gotta watch out for these people, I gotta watch out for those people, which to me is a normal part of my day, right? And she's like, oh, you should be nice to them. Oh, what? Just be nice. Being nice apparently is just like, covers all things. And if you're having trouble, it's because you're not being nice enough. And she means well. But she's also someone who claims that people never make her nervous. And I'm like, that makes me nervous. And the fact that she's incredibly violent sort of tends to take away from the credibility of her position. Because I find violent people are never all that nervous in public. Right? If you have social anxiety, well, you're on the better end of things. Right? Unfortunately, it means you have enough of a voice to feel the necessary violent noise around you. The ways that the world says, with all of the power of our voices, not perhaps in the entire spectrum, but there are just levels which the human race's voice is saying, this is not a good situation for you. Unless, it's like, she can send you a government form all in red saying, welcome to life. This is not a good situation for you. And it's got 100 points. Check off 25 and you might be okay. And you're looking through going, okay, every one of these involves having a job. Shit. Okay, what kind of job is it? All right. You do this job. Give this person this kind of job. Okay. Bend over 3 times a week to Allah. Got it. No, 3 times a day. Oh, okay, but if you do that, there's like subsections. You spend 3 hours on a computer filling out this form, and then the protection racket called society goes, green light. And you're like, fuck, thank you. Then they come and take you away as you, of course, fulfill all of your debt to society. You know, and you think, well, at least I had a choice in the matter. You tell your children, this is the way you have a true voice. The world gives you a choice, and it's your job to exercise it. If you don't, you're bad little girls and boys, and Allah eats you alive. Even if you do, that's all that's going to happen to you, but at least you'll have a range of pleasant delusions with which to console yourself as you're brutalizing your fellow man in the quest for nothing more laudable than 73 virgins in 153 languages. Quest for fire. It's amazing that, you know, you can think in about 50 years, people who've never been on LSD will tell you that people went to Mars. I just think that's incredible. Like in 100 years, we've gone to a society that can achieve the effects of LSD on a mass scale without any LSD. Don't you see what they're doing? They're seeing if the world can like change your mind as much, right, from birth to grave, as if they had you on LSD the entire time to make you as suggestible as possible, right? Then you're wondering, right, while you're on LSD, oh gee, I better not imagine, you know, Buddha on the Ale Lampa having conjoint relations. That'll mean I'm crazy. Meanwhile, the world spells out all these LSD-worthy fucking delusions for billions of people to go, yeah, man, we went to Mars. Yeah, that's amazing. That kind of said, we went to Mars, and that makes everything better, as William Irwin Thompson said. The idea of space. He was a cultural anthropologist, I guess, and his big idea was, no matter how bad the world gets, it's important to pour as much money as possible into space, because otherwise people would have nothing to live for. You know? And very morbid sort of philosophy. Very morbid philosophy. But when I was reading it in, I don't know if it was A Time Falling Bodies Take to Light or Passages About Earth, it's the kind of thing that you find kind of like intriguing. I'm like, I like the way you think. You know, I bought it tentatively because I didn't really care, I guess. One or the other. I'd passed through my science fiction phase a long time ago by then, but which I think is a phase. I mean, people say they read Philip K. Dick their entire life. I'm just like, oh my goodness, what happened to you? You know, your reading taste should change your entire life. When I speak to people, and you know, the top 10 books that they've ever read don't include anything by Machiavelli. You know, it's like, whoa. I mean, political ponerology, maybe a little bit of. Oh, I think I'll just go down this way today. So, reading levels don't change a lot. Interest in sports doesn't change. People have lifelong devotions to basketball, to hockey, and then into particular teams, particular players which have heroic, legendary mythology around them. You know, they can be counted on to get into a kind of beautiful and joyful state. You know, Ricky Moreau in 1973 threw a .255. He batted this, and he came to the plate, and he scratched his crotch, and he was chewing gum on the left side of his mouth that day, and his testicles were hanging to the right, and that was the day that Ricky Montana did blabbity blabbity blub, and then blibbity bloom in the third inning, in the fourth strike, at the third hour, at the 6 o'clock, at the 7th day, at the 5th purple flag, at the 2nd zenith, at the full moon, at the 2nd order, at the 6th light, and the orange purple doom at the end of eternity. He cracked that ball with all that Odin first hit the fucking stone of grace. And my balls just went zing. And all of their life. You know, a Christian talking about Jesus after baptism day, it could scarcely be more zealous, right? It is proportional, though, to being a 50-year-old man, and it's sold quite heavily, right? In movies and stuff like that. Billy Crystal, who was a shill, family member of a shill, spent his career basically telling people his love of baseball. In City Slickers, it's all about Mickey Mantle and the brotherhood of the mythological level of baseball lore and how it brings countries together. in times of peace and war. But of course there's never a peace and it's always war. But you can draw certain lines that make it look like a constant state of war is actually moving from peace to war. And this capacity in our mind, which is, at least partially groomed out by a world that seems to completely rely upon it when leading masses of people, makes extraordinary demands upon our minds. And it divides our loyalties. People talk about divide and conquer. Well, the peace from the war, divided up in history itself, is delusional. Right? Right? It's like trying to be 100 feet in the ocean and divide water from the concept of water. It's all war, all of the time. Right? Peace, the peacetime has erupted. You don't even know what the war is. You don't even know you're a casualty of the war. You never know the numbers of bodies it claims. You certainly never know the number of minds it claims, right? For all that it claims of human minds, no one ever accounts for how many minds it claims and at what cost. We don't ever have those numbers, right? But I want your sons and daughters to give their cocks and their uteruses to it. And I will call them heroes the more painfully they die for something their mind was never even given the time to consider in all of its normal proportions. In a world where you take any human life and you expand its claim upon a coherent picture of life to the scale of the world, you get 7 billion people slowly committing suicide on a daily basis. It's not coherent, which tells you that people aren't thinking properly. They're not looking at their environment and connecting it. They're waiting for the world to give them the multiplied value of their personal delusions in a sufficiently pleasing but motivating way. America, yes, is just as strong as ever, but we don't know if we're going to hit another depression. You better work twice as much for half as much to make us get through this difficult time. But by the way, here's an incredibly important person for you to fling shit at on a regular basis with all of your otherwise educated and erudite friends and neighbors. If that makes you feel better, it's like they give you the shit, they show you the wall, they get you all aroused, and like apes, you go to the fucking coffee shops of the world and start flinging it at the guy on TV. And you're like, oh, that's freedom, man. Yeah, man. I love flinging that shit today. That was amazing. Whew, Trump really ate it in the polls. I bet it had something to do with our conversation the other day. I bet you the CIA was listening. I think we gave them some good ideas. It's like we were planning an assassination and we heard something in a bar or something. And fuck, it was exactly the way you spelled it out, Larry. Next thing you know, Larry gets a knock on the door. It's like, you didn't really do this, but we thought you would be a really great dupe since 100 witnesses claim you spelled out the murder of the president in gory detail on Friday morning, 1999, before going to work at your shit job for your shit wage for no fucking benefits. And now we've got your cock in the sling for the next 200 years. Your children are going to do time. It's like, fuck, man. It's funny. When first you bend the laws of man, what you will then have to withstand. And I just have to talk about it. Man, I was like really hurt yesterday. That's bad. And then it's like, so the day before, I think this is day 2 now. It's day 2, thankfully. And my mom is in a good mood. I have to make sure I don't, I have to get it out of my system. Like, I'm the one who could provoke her at this point. Like, the spirit's in me now, right? That's why she feels better, right? She prosecuted me with the spirit of evil, and I'm carrying it a little bit in me. I'm getting out of my systems, can you tell? And it's good for me. It makes me a better person. When I put the spirit of evil into my life, because I'm such a good person, it makes me a better person, right? Because I distribute it properly. My biggest worry is, no, I don't want to go too far and distribute my anger in an appropriate way. But I have to show not only the skill of restraint, but the skill of knowing where to use it, right? And I found myself habituated to using it on my phone, right? Basically, that's why I'm using it. It's like having phone cojones. I'm phoning it in. But wouldn't you? Like, if you really wanted to have a beef with the world, Until everyone you know, everything is thought of. Wouldn't you phone it in? You'd make your $100 million, go up to a paradise island, and then do a teleconference call with all of your friends and neighbors and family. Be like, you're cunts. I'm rich. Fuck off. Phone cojones, right? Yeah, something you would never otherwise say. But that's basically my channel. I'm rich. You're cunts. Fuck off. Phone cojones. Yeah. The last time I was on this log, I managed to show everyone how easy it was to fall on a log. I don't know if I fell down or off. It all happened so quickly. but that was okay. Pride was hurt a little bit, but that was about it. I'm like, oh. And right away I'm like, oh, you did that well. You know? That's what I tell people, you know, when I see them fall. I'll be like, oh, you did that well. You know, figure, you know, might as well beef up their pride at this delicate moment in their lives. Man, you didn't look funny at all. Yeah. And then I upload the video to YouTube called Incredibly Awkward Person Breaks My Heart. It's like walking through the corn and field of dreams. Build it, and he will come. That's why God built a pussy. It's like, right? Building a vagina. Build it, and he will come. So the baseball field is the pussy. Right? If you want to study the religion of baseball, watch Field of Dreams. Build it, and he will come. And where does he come? All of his father and all of his paternal heroes, baseball players. His father is like one of the team, and he's actually raised by the male herd because nobody knows who his father really is, right? The paternity is uncertain, and he comes to the field of dreams to act out his rage with his delusions of American Gothic mythology. Jesus is his father. Guys, he builds the field. The spirits come. Build it, and he will come. Right? He decides he's going to rebuild the world. He's like fallen Lucifer. I'm going to build an incredible vagina, and it's going to gather more energy from human beings than a vagina. They're going to wait for that fucking stadium lights to go on. That ball field is going to be more important to men than a vagina, and it's going to turn them all into homosexuals. That's baseball, right? The baseball. Balling. Good, I didn't sleep today. Right? He slips out of the corn like a wicker man. He's a sacrifice. The people from the corn are a sacrifice. They're sacrificial deities. They're the men who've been sacrificed. And there comes sacrifice. They sacrifice to the state pussy. They give their sacrifice to the state pussy, which is like a game, right? 7 innings. 3 strikes, you're out. 4 balls. 3 calling birds, 2. 3 doves and a partridge in a tree. The numbers are all significant. The beginning of the 7th. Right? First, second, third, fourth, fifth. Numbers counting up to 7. Whoosh. 8. Does it go to 9 innings? I can't remember. 7 innings. I think it's 7 innings. I can't remember. I don't know the game that well. 3 strikes, 4 balls, which adds up to 7. 4 bases. Right? 3 outfielders. Right? 7. And a pitcher on the mound. Right? Of the pussy. Throwing the ball, and he hits with his big bat. Crack goes the bat. It's a very psychic environment too. It stimulates psychic energy. It's almost like you know he's going to hit that ball out, and it's almost like you know where it's going to go. Crack. It's like you go, look to your dad. I knew it was going to go there, Dad. right? There's almost a psychic pleasure. There's a cognitive prescience that comes over the avid baseball worshiper. I've seen it. People in baseball, they feel almost psychic. They're psychically connected to it. The electricity of it all. I watched a video of an announcer who predicted what pitch a guy was going to hit where. Right? Almost had it exactly on as to where it was going to go. So, right, there's a psychic connection there. It's like, whoa, you can see it. Like in sports sometimes, there's a lot of psychic energy connected to it. Whoa. Like, you just almost know when that guy's going to win. And a lot of it's rigged, right? So you're putting your mind in alignment with something that's a combination of magic, delusion, rigging, scripting. Not always, not in all ways. But a lot of human control as well. And a lot of money involved. A lot of psychic energy, right? When you allow people to bet on things, what does it bring? It brings psychic energy, right? And then that psychic energy pools, right? And you try to predict. You feel as though you can predict, right? The person betting on the horse race is like, I know who's going to win. And maybe you're right. Maybe if there wasn't some other energy you haven't accounted for, you would predict. But unfortunately, there's other factors at play that you haven't accounted for. You've completely invested in something, but you haven't accounted completely, right? You've gone all in, we say, right? But you haven't completely accounted for everything. You're being bluffed, as in poker. You're convinced you've got the winning hand, psychically, in every way. And of course, if your guy wins, your team wins, how does that fucking do to your psychic confidence? You feel like $1 million, but when they lose, you feel like shit. You can even get clinically depressed. People cry. People bet their lives. They bet money. They lose their fortunes in betting just on sports. Right? And it's push. It's psychic like a casino. Right? This is not, you go gambling, what? It's rigged. Right? You're never meant to win. But you're meant to psychically think you can. The once you wrap your mind around having to win, that's when they tap you on how to win. They tap you on the shoulder and they escort you out. Sorry, you're not allowed to be that smart here. You're not allowed to figure out the racket and start making it work for you, right? How like life. But yet everyone in there is, as far as they're concerned, making it work for them, no matter how much they lose, right? Right, and they go into a place, deprived of oxygen. Not really oxygen, but air, light, clocks, right? Used to get children into arcades for the same reason. It's one of the last dark places with no clocks that children were allowed in. I would go there with my brother, and you'd lose track of time pumping quarters into arcade games. And I always allotted myself a certain amount, $2, you know, which in 2020 standards, I guess was probably like $10 today. And but in terms of how much it would take to play how many video games, right? Because for $2 I could play a quarter a game, right? So that's 20 games. No, 8 games. Yeah, sorry, 8 games. And like 8 games at $2. Today would probably be 50 cents to $1 a game. $2 a game. $5 a game. Good day. Haven't seen anybody. Yeah, those guys in the woods are a little creepy. Get my blood up a little bit. It's amazing. I just feel in my body like, do I need to move or do I not need to move? And it's like, nope, not right now. Just hold your ground. And then it was like, then I got a little more plastic with it. I thought, I'm just going to slowly make my way at this point. And then it's like, courtesy to, it's an easy courtesy to myself included, because like I said, it's a good time to go home. So. And then I probably won't come back tomorrow. When I do come back, I'll be very interested. Now, my interest will be piqued as to whether the pentagram is still there, right? What kind of people they are. because no doubt they'll probably want to visit that place again when I'm gone. Maybe even by now, I don't know. But it's done what I needed it to do, and sometimes, as I've said in the past, when I use a pentagram for something I needed to do, there's been times when it will be destroyed, which will actually complete what I was doing, and then start me fresh upon another course. So pentagrams can be rebuilt. So if they crush it, it'll kind of be doing my favor. Doesn't mean I can't say I won't be angry about it. I have got what I needed out of it, and just having people stumble upon it when I was there, actually, today, on a day when I quite likely might not have been, puts me in a mind of wanting to say, hey, I've completed something in that place for the time being, so I'll let it go. And also, I'm going to go walk somewhere else. I want to use my bus pass a few more times this month, so I think I'm going to go walk tomorrow. And if I get home early today, get a good sleep, all will be well. Wearing shorts today just made things. It was the first day I just thought to myself, at the risk of being too cold, I'm just going to put shorts on because the weather is so variable. But I didn't end up spending a lot of time sitting in the woods, so I think that made a bit of a difference. And then tomorrow I'll be doing a lot more walking, so I'll be wearing my shorts. It's very humid right now, very uncomfortable. And but it's not just the chemtrails, because usually the chemtrails come in advance of cloud cover, but and they seem to block a lot of sunlight. I mean, you might think, oh, okay, maybe the chemtrails blocked about 3 hours of direct sunlight today over, hundreds of thousands of square acres, but and how much of a difference does that really make? And the amount of energy put into the earth from the sun, and how much of a difference does that make to the energy that will be put into us? And it doesn't make a huge difference in nature, per se. Stop for a second. Tired. Yeah. My skin, freshly exposed to nature, is just erupting in little, like walking through brush and stuff like that. It's not always the best thing for your calves, but it'll heal. Little irritations and things like that.